Even if Mahmoud Khalil isn't deported, as the Trump administration is trying to do, the damage to free speech in the United States may already have been done, and that damage may be significant. The Trump administration has arrested and detained Mahmoud Khalil. He is a lawful permanent resident of the United States. That means he's a green card holder. People who live in the United States as lawful permanent residents have First Amendment rights under the Constitution, and the Supreme Court has been saying that for nearly a century. So when the administration tries to deport someone for what he said, they're undermining free speech rights, not only for him and not only for people who are green card holders. They're doing it for everybody because that's how free speech works. The message to everyone else is that the administration might find a way to punish you for your speech too. And so the point of free speech rights, like all fundamental rights, is that either everyone who's entitled to them has them, or no one who has them is genuinely safe. So there's a fundamental contradiction between what Trump said coming into office and what his administration is doing in this case. That's the reason that a lot of people who have no sympathy whatsoever for Khalil's politics nevertheless are protecting his right to express his opinion. The Trump administration has been suggesting that they don't think that Khalil committed any crimes, but that they want to test whether the law that says that the Secretary of State can say that someone should be deported because it's against our foreign policy interests for them to be in the country is in fact constitutional. And the question that the courts will now have to decide is whether that provision of immigration law violates free speech when it's applied to kick out someone based on words that he said. The other provision that they might rely on in the future says that if someone espouses or endorses terrorism, they can be deported from the United States even if they're here lawfully. The trouble with these two provisions of law is that they would each violate the basic principle of free speech, which is that if you're in the United States, you can express your political opinions without being punished, and being kicked out of the country definitely counts as being punished. There's, however, a deeper thing to worry about, which is that even if the courts are able to do their job and free speech ultimately is vindicated, that the message that will be sent to the public nevertheless is that your free speech rights are less strong and less protected than they were before this arrest. That's the kind of damage that has long-term effects on eroding the freedom of speech. And we have a lot of important rights in this country, but I think in a democracy, the freedom of speech is second to none in terms of its fundamental nature. If I can't express my opinion here, if you can't express your opinion yourself, then we really would no longer be living in a legitimate democracy.